I want to start the program with the general notion of empowering people to be leaders at every level in your organizations, rather than people who just are punching the clock and leaving at the end of the day. How important is it in today's competitive global marketplace to empower your people to take ownership of your organization, your company, to feel a stake, to feel like they can contribute to the greater good rather than just be task driven? Mike, what are your thoughts about that?
Well, it's interesting being in the staffing industry for 28 years, in that there's been a common thread that happens every time when throughout the years, hundreds of thousands of people who've gotten jobs through the industries I've worked in. And that thread is the excitement of a new opportunity. There is a very interesting thing when someone gets a job. There's a light in their eye. There's a sense of accomplishment. They're going to rule the world. They're going to be president someday. And what we do is some companies take that and try to make that into more, and congratulations to them. Others say, we'll have none of that talk, right? And you can tour those organizations right now in Milwaukee because they have new signs on the buildings and it says for sale, for lease, you know? So what we have to do now, if you don't think that taking that dream of the excitement of someone getting a new job and trying to make that better, and it doesn't take all the money people invest in workforce development programs, you know, because we don't have that anymore. What it does take is the simplicity of engagement and onboarding. Simplicity is that every person has to be talking to each other. They're going to have to say, if you're with me today, we will be with you tomorrow, and reinvent the sense of loyalty that obviously was lost when we had no choice but to cut staff and cut programs and cut HR people, and we have no money to do it. So there's no program out there, and there's a lot of things. Future Milwaukee's out there. You see all the other services and all the other opportunities, but it does start from the basics, and that's a hello in the morning. That's how you feeling, and come with me, and we'll take this journey together. That's the new way to do it. Else you're out of business, my friends. That's the way it is.
Tom?
I'm going to talk about that on two levels. First, we're a 26-year-old company. We started as an entrepreneurial business, family-owned, and the CEO pretty much told everybody what to do every day. And over time, and especially in the last half a decade, what we've really tried to do is to train, empower our leaders, our management team, to really take ownership of their respective areas without checking on everything that they do. And that's easier to say than it is to actually accomplish. You have to change that culture. So we found that to be one area where we've really worked very hard to grow our management team and provide them with the proper education and so forth, and support to be able to do that. And even on a more widespread level, I wouldn't call it empower to be leaders, but certainly empower all of our employees to be able to use their expertise in their specific areas. So that's if you're somebody in assembly, or you're somebody in welding, or you're writing a press release. You all have expertise in your areas, and to really encourage that participation and engagement from all those employees to actively be participating in making the business better every day.
John?
Well, I'll answer that from I could answer it from my perspective managing a company, but I think I'll answer it from the perspective of my agency. And it's one of the things that we've done is we've tried to engage the business. We're a kind of a quasi-government. We get most of our funding from the government, get some from foundations, and we train people who may not have had all the opportunities, or some who have had but have been displaced, for the jobs of the future, so to speak. And we've gone around to different industry, different people, and said, well, what are you looking for in your employees, and so on and so forth. And one of the things that we found is that there really aren't too many jobs around anymore for people with who just have a high school diploma and no particular skills beyond that. Even if you're on the shop floor or someplace else, you really need to have some kind of technical or additional training, and you have to be able to make decisions. I think companies now expect people at all levels to be making decisions that I don't think 30 or 40 years ago they did. So I think that's real critical. I think that's part of the issue that we face in our society, is empowering people, getting people to the point where they feel comfortable that they have the knowledge and the backing to make those kind of decisions, and that's what we try to do with our agency. So I think it's real important that employees feel empowered on some level, and I think it's a virtual necessity these days.
About 2 years ago, we threw a grenade in our traditional model of shop operation, which was command and control and a shop supervisor. What we wound up doing is implemented short interval leadership or servant leadership. We divvied up the shop into about 6 or 7 areas and put team leaders in place in each of those areas. And basically what we said, we want you to worry about quality, safety, productivity, training, and what type of behavioral things you need to address. It was hard to find a training partner with that. We teamed up with WCTC and developed a curriculum to help these team leaders and train them in that, because these are going to be all new areas where they historically were never had the expertise in addressing. You know, we were talking about, you will be basically working your own overtime, making your own hours, driving your own area with one mind and goal, keeping the customer happy. So don't miss the date, make sure it's on time, make sure it's correct, and obviously work very safe in doing that. Happy to say that model is still in place right now, doing quite well. It's so much that we've increased our output by about 20% for each area. Our profits have probably gone up about 5-fold, and at the same time we probably doubled our sales over the last 5 years. So I think you look at that model and how we became more globally competitive and engaging and trying to get our people involved with what's going on every day. Because let's face it, they're there 8, 9, 10 hours a day, and you're only going home for a few hours. How do we as leaders make that a non-barrier for them to come to work every day and say, hey, I want to be here, I want to be productive, I want to be listened to, I want to make sure that I'm a valuable employee. And that's kind of our job. How do we make sure that work is not the barrier for them to wake up every morning saying, oh, I got to get up every morning and come to work. I'm not saying it doesn't happen every day, but if we can figure out ways to reduce that barrier, I think we'll blow our competition away, no problem.